Governor El-Rufai, Professor Soludo acknowledged the work you did during, of course, as FCT minister and as the DG of BP at that time. But what all of us in this room can acknowledge is that politics influences economic decision. I would like you to speak about, based on your experience, what the difficulties are in executing difficult reforms. How can a consensus be achieved and sustained on the critical agenda of economic transformation? If we take a look at, for example, the issue of fuel subsidy has been on for many years. I remember Khalifa is seated here. I remember those days, Khalifa and the former Minister of Finance, Okonjo-Iweala. I interviewed them then. It was removal of subsidy. We're still talking about it now. How many years? 11 years again. So how can a consensus be achieved? And please, can we also make it short? Answers. Thank you.
You are asking a politician to make it short? When I looked at this panel, I wondered why I was invited, and then I explained it away by saying, well, Soludo was former central bank governor, economist, and so on. World Bank, businessman. I realized that I was chosen because I'm the only politician here. Soludo just joined us. Let me first answer his question that he posed, the last question he posed. Yes, there are examples of countries with 4-year election cycles that have natural resources whose path has deviated from that of Nigeria. Indonesia is one, Malaysia is another that come to my mind immediately. So I have answered this question on your behalf. But coming back to what you said, you know, Zainab's book is perhaps, in my view, the most important book about the Nigerian economy in the last 1 or 2 decades. It truly looks at the problems, and as Professor Soludo said, you know, she's right on the money. She got it. It's all politics. Politics trumps everything. And if you don't have the proper political settlement, it becomes extremely difficult to have elite consensus, to have long-term plans that everyone will buy into across party lines and so on. And it just becomes, you know, based on accidents and luck. I was part of that one accident that everyone is talking about, the second term of Obasanjo and the aftermath, when we exited London and Paris clubs, we averaged 7% annual GDP growth for a long period. And Professor Soludo's suggestion that perhaps we should not despair, but look at that period and see what did we do right. Because it means Nigeria can do it. We can replicate this. It was all Nigerians, and it was a Nigerian president. It was a 4-year election cycle. But we're able to do so much in that period and laid a solid foundation for our successors. But something went wrong somewhere. I think there is a need to study that and then understand it. We can talk about it, some of us that were part of it. We can talk about it in a few words. I think political leadership matters. If you don't have political will to take very difficult decisions that may be unpopular in the short term, but solves long-term problems that the rest of the people may not see, but you know it has to be done, then you are in good shape. Secondly, if you have political leadership that is legitimate and strong will to pursue difficult decisions, you need a competent team. You need a solid team. The Nigerian cabinet consists of something like 40 ministers. You don't need more than 10 solid ministers to move the entire cabinet along. And what Obasanjo did in his second term was to pick a few of us that had no political ties, but had a track record either in the private sector or development community and so on, and put us together and said, I want to get debt relief. Okay? Do whatever you can to make sure we get debt relief. This was the crisis that compelled Obasanjo in his second term to focus. And this was what gave us, as the economic team, the leeway to do anything we wanted. There was nothing we take to Obasanjo that he would not approve, because he wanted to go down as the president that eliminated Nigeria's foreign debt, which has been an albatross for 2 decades. And Ngozi gave us the leadership. She assembled the team. We were all technocrats. We were not political. Obasanjo handled the politics. He backed us up. And that's why we were able to do what we did. Okay? We were lucky oil prices started rising, but we saved the excess revenues. We ensured the exchange rate was actually undervalued. You know, the team was very disciplined. So you need leadership, you need a competent team, and you need to communicate and explain to people what you're doing, because often people are willing to support the government. Nigerians are very supportive of their government if they understand what you're doing and they can see light at the end of the tunnel. So to me, this is an outline of what we should be looking at.